can count on to comfort me when I'm feeling all sad and depressed is Dark Souls and Elder Scrolls. So let's talk about Elder Scrolls. All right, so listen to me. I don't know why everything is in D tier. Okay, just the tier list is a little fucky, bro. Listen, man, this shit is a sponge. Okay, so let's talk right to left. Let's get the interesting, good stuff out of the way. Oblivion. This is the game that made Bethesda worth the whatever, like $60 billion or whatever the fuck Microsoft paid. Because this is the game that really skyrocketed Elder Scrolls into mainstream success. It was also completely sabotaged by the fact that everyone bought an Xbox 360 on the promise of buying Halo 3. Because Halo 3 came out like 7 months after the 360 did. It was not a launch title, but it was the main selling point. Yes, Halo was actually just that fucking popular at the time. So Oblivion came out. In fact, this is actually a fun fact. Go pull up a list of all the games that came out between the Xbox 360's release and Halo 3. I'm willing to bet a lot of your favorite games when you were a kid are on that list, because that was the prime time for brand new franchises to break into the mainstream, and Oblivion capitalized on that. In doing so, it fucking kind of just killed most everything about Elder Scrolls. Oblivion is objectively not a good game, especially if you take the story at face value. However, I fully subscribe to Patrician's fan theory that Mehrunes Dagon chose Martin, and the story is actually the reverse of what it's trying to tell you. And when you think about it like that, it genuinely makes the game significantly better. Because a lot of the bad plot holes that riddle the story just start making sense. So this is extreme fucking copium right now. But, Oblivion is A tier. As far as game mechanics go, the difficulty slider is garbage and lazy. Unfortunately, this game reintroduced fast travel into the series. Why is that a problem? Well, look at how many quests. The biggest problem with fast travel is the simple fact that game designers have to design around it. There is no such thing as just don't use it. Because look at the Fighters Guild quest at Oblivion. The second Fighters Guild quest has you go all the way to the bottom right of the map, all the way back up to the top right of the map, all the way to the bottom left of the map, back up to the top left of the map, and then back down to the bottom right to turn it in. And the scale of Cyrodiil, that would literally be like a 5 to 6 month trip in universe. But it's just supposed to be some shitty little pissant quest for a newcomer. With fast travel, this legitimately takes like 2 minutes. But that's the kind of thing that the world designer just doesn't have to think about at all. Or I'm sorry, the quest designer doesn't have to think about at all if they build the game around fast travel. And you might say, who cares? I would say it's those little things that separate video games from television. Okay, let's get the big one out of the way. Let's get Skyrim out of the way. Skyrim is not good. Vanilla Skyrim is fucking terrible. I'm sorry, but vanilla Skyrim is garbage, and if you think otherwise, one of three things is true. Either you're old, or you grew up with the game, and you just haven't played it in a while. And I fucking forget what the third thing is. Look, it is impossible for you to play Skyrim recently as an adult to take the nostalgia glasses off and look at it objectively and say this is good. The main quest is completely forced in your face. You have no time to explore the world. The only logical option for someone who's like getting invested in the game is to follow the main quest start to finish with no breaks. There's never a time when you have a second to breathe and explore the world. None of the guild factions are good. Fucking dude, the companions. Okay. Let me sum up Skyrim for you in one sentence. The companions have a quest where the leader of the faction tells you he regrets becoming a werewolf. Then, literally 3 lines of dialogue later, you are forced to become a werewolf to continue the quest, and there is no way around it. You have to do that, or you are locked out of the only warrior faction in the game. Warriors as a archetype have 0 faction if you do not become the thing that you were just warned will damn you to like fucking literally to hell. Guaranteed. And you can't go to anyone about this. If this were Morrowind, you would be able to go to the Silver Hand and you would be able to out them, and then the attack that happens later on in the quest where they kill Kodlak and shit, you would be able to trigger that quest early, but be on their side. And that is just one of the many, many examples. And talk about gameplay. Dude, Skyrim combat, if you're melee, is literally just fucking... all the weapons are just different paddles. They have nothing unique. Every weapon is just a block of stats. It is your health value plus your... I'm sorry. The way Skyrim combat works is incredibly simple. If you're melee, your weapon is your damage value. Your armor is a percent that lowers your damage taken. And your health is your health. Your enemy has the same 3 modifiers, and then whichever person has the bigger numbers wins the fight. That is literally all there is to it. Skyrim's combat sucks because it is just 2 numbers grinding against each other until the bigger number eventually wins. And newsflash, unless you're playing on Legendary, the bigger number is almost always the player because that's what fulfills the power fantasy. Seriously, Skyrim's combat is so easy that I modded it to be ultra hardcore with Requiem and a whole bunch of other survival mods, and I was still able to play successfully into the end game with Iron Man, no death. Like, it is just that fucking easy. There is no thinking involved. There is no real opportunity to roleplay because they took most build crafting and most flavor stuff with the world out. There's little roleplay opportunity. You can't not be the Dragonborn. So there's no roleplay opportunity, there's no interesting building, and the combat is literally just button mashing because there's no depth to it. Skyrim. Okay, let me put it this way. If Skyrim had came out today, like right now, it would be seen as a mid at best live service game. Because you know they would implement the Creation Club as like a way to constantly add fucking content. That's all it would be. But the fact that it came out when most of us were fucking impressionable kids and we had no idea what good games were, and we all got sucked into it because it was the most like realistic, immersive fantasy game that was easily accessible at the time, that's why we all love it. Skyrim is a warm... Patrician said it best at the end of his Skyrim review. It is a warm blanket that will always be there to comfort you when you get sad. Hell, I'm fucking playing through Skyrim right now. Like, that is the truest statement ever. But if you objectively look at the game from a quality-only perspective, it does not hold up at all. On the complete other end of the spectrum, Morrowind is probably some of the best work Bethesda's ever made. Now, I already know there's going to be people who see Skyrim low, Morrowind high, Morrow boomer, you suck, your opinion is wrong. I do not care anymore. I genuinely don't. Morrowind, let's put it this way. Morrowind is a role-playing game. Skyrim is an action-adventure game. I prefer role-playing games. If I'm going to play an action-adventure game, I'm going to play Dark Souls, or Nioh, or anything that's actually somewhat fucking challenging. Skyrim has the unfortunate... It is the whole power fantasy thing just does not sit well with me at fucking all. It is so fucking boring to just walk in a room, be surrounded by 5 enemies, have no decisions to make. You just walk forward and then click the button on the controller and win. It is so fucking boring. Anyway, Morrowind's the complete opposite. Morrowind has some of the best story in any TES game. The fact that people still talk and debate about it to this day. Oh wait, I'm sorry. One last thing that I want to say about Skyrim. The Nords are the objectively best choice. Anyone who says otherwise doesn't know anything about the setting. The Stormcloaks aren't even racist. The only example people can point at Stormcloaks of being racist is the initial dialogue when you walk into Windhelm, when there's 2 Nords harassing a dark elf lady. But guess what? Guess what? They aren't fucking part of the Stormcloak faction. They're just 2 dudes. This would be like saying the US military is oppressive to minorities, and your evidence of that is fucking 2 white bums in LA heckling a black guy. But like, oh my fucking god, I hate Skyrim. I hate the people who obsess over it. I hate the dialogue around the game. Fuck. Anyway, Morrowind is really good. The fact that Morrowind has a contingency for just about anything you could want to do, at any point in any quest line, you can just say, fuck it, I'm gonna go join the other side. You can just kill the quest giver. You can do just about anything, and it has some contingency for it. It actually embraces the idea that the player might say, wow, I really don't like my quest giver. I'm going to, cast madness on this person, or I'm going to cast frenzy on them. They're going to attack me, and I'm going to legally kill them as self-defense. And that doesn't brick 90% of the quest lines is a testament to how well designed they are. Whereas you look at a game like Oblivion or Skyrim, bro, could you imagine... Just try to imagine a world where you play through Oblivion, but you fucking kill Martin or Joffrey or really any character that gives you a quest. You kill Archmage Traven at the start of the Mage's quest line. They all just break immensely. But dude, even in Morrowind, they tell you about the thread of prophecy being severed. You can kill every single main quest character in Morrowind and still finish the main quest. There is an unlisted, unmarked quest to still get Sunder and Ning and Wraithguard and reactivate them. The only problem is it basically bricks your fucking character by absolutely destroying your stats. If you somehow manage to still beat Dagoth Ur after that, you can still clear the game. Look it up if you don't believe me. It is possible to beat Morrowind with like every NPC dead, except for like one. And I don't know, there's just something about that that's beautiful. It really shows that the people that made the game, they sat down and they were like, okay, if I'm an adventurer, let's say I don't like this smug Vivek douchebag and I want to kill him. Okay, what would be the consequences of that? Well, the main quest would completely shatter, but he just tells you what to do. He doesn't like jizz on Wraithguard and make it work. He just explains everything. He's just important. The gameplay mechanics of Morrowind are fucking amazing. People who complain about hit chance combat in role-playing games are generally pretty stupid, and they don't actually like role-playing games. They like action-adventure games, and they are not a fan of roleplay whatsoever. If you think a level 50 Giga Chad god that has been practicing since birth to be a master of the blade should in any way be even taking hits from fucking little Timmy, the fucking level 2 who just started his adventure, you are delusional. I do not care if the models intersect. You are insane. You know nothing about combat in this time period. If you think that there is even a chance that a novice could even damage or wound a master, look up Hema videos. Look up, like, Hema champions fighting people just getting into the hobby for the first time. And you're gonna... Go ahead. Tell me hit chance doesn't belong in role-playing games when IRL... You want to know a good way to do this? Kingdom Come Deliverance is just a modern version of Morrowind. There is very little skill in Kingdom Come Deliverance's combat. It is all dice rolls. However, every animation in the game makes it look like Skyrim action combat instead of being dice rolls. But here's the thing. Henry has an attack stat that you level up, and there's defense stats. So, like, for example, if you are a level 1 Henry and you use a mod to spawn in a high-level Cumin and give yourself God mode, it does not matter how well you play the game. You won't be able to hit him. That is Morrowind dice roll combat, but every animation in the game is dressed up to make you seem like it's not that. Because, again, in the words of Patrician, we need to use modern technology to trick plebs into thinking they aren't playing a role-playing game. Which is just such a... Why do you think there aren't any good RPGs anymore? But it's just like... Oh my god, if you had Kingdom Come Deliverance style combat in a modern TES game like Skyrim, oh my god, dude. Modded quests, so you have the independent quality of writing with combat from Kingdom Come, which is Morrowind style, with the scale of modern Bethesda. Oh my fucking god. You're talking about perhaps the single greatest game to ever exist. Okay, anyway, Daggerfall. Yeah, if you can't tell, I value really good writing and a lot of player freedom. I value role playing, which, by the way, I love durability. Here's another fucking, if you want a thing to, negate all my opinions, I love durability. I fucking love playing Oblivion. My weapon breaks. I have to pick up a weapon that does 75% less damage off the floor and then use that to finish the dungeon. If you are the kind of bitch who fast travels out or loads a save when things start going wrong, fuck you. Stop playing role-playing games. At the very least, stop giving your garbage opinion on them. It is about the adventure. It is about the roleplay. It is about things happening that you didn't prepare for. Nothing bothers me more than watching someone critique an Elder Scrolls game. It doesn't matter if they're glazing Skyrim or saying Morrowind is the shittiest game ever. If I watch their gameplay and they're like, we're in a dungeon. Oh no, this NPC died. Let me just load a save. Fuck you, dude. You do not understand the premise of role-playing games. They aren't supposed to be perfect. Anyway, Daggerfall is another A-tier game, but this Daggerfall would be S-tier if not for how fucking old it is. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of problems with its design that you just wouldn't see today. A good example of this is, why are high elves so overpowered? High elves starting with the ebony dagger. An ebony dagger is like, if you tier out the equipment in Daggerfall, you would have your short blades, your long blades, and then like your two-handed, your like heavy items. And then you have tier like 1 through 6, we'll say. The ebony dagger that high elves can start with is like fucking, it's like a tier 4 overall weapon. And you can get it at level 1. Just by clicking the right options in character creation. And that's not to mention you can start with such high magicka absorption that you could just instantly create an AoE spell that takes all your magicka and self-harms you and just walk into a room, pew, fully restore magicka, pew, fully restore magicka, pew, and you're killing everything while you're doing this. Like, Daggerfall is just incredibly broken. It is a great idea with pretty poor execution. Also, the dungeons are pretty monotonously terrible. Honestly, I'm starting to think Daggerfall is closer to here. Because, like, while yes, the freedom is real. Also, yeah, no, the warp in the west fucking sucks. The main quest of Daggerfall is one of the worst events in Elder Scrolls history, and it basically ruined the entire franchise by starting this bullshit premise of whatever, just retcon anything, the unreliable narrator, herder. And Arena is honestly just as good as Daggerfall, because even though it's so much smaller in scope, but this allowed them to focus in on the design more. They were able to make a much smoother experience, as opposed to Daggerfall is as wide as an ocean and as deep as a river, but there's still some deactivated World War II landmines floating around in that river. Arena is as wide and as deep as a river, but it's a pretty enjoyable swimming experience. So, ESO. Some of you may know, if you're watching this, I'm a bit of an ESO fucking fanboy. As I swoosh on over to the other monitor here and pull this up real quick. No, wait, I don't want to open up again. Fuck. Anyway, so Elder Scrolls Online had a very rocky launch. But it really pulled itself back. Okay, hold on. So look at this. Look at this. So I'm a little biased here. This is my ESO character, and I was a, like top 10 best player in the entire world in this game for around a year. So that's my bias on display. Now, that does give me, you might also know I was very highly ranked in WoW as well. It's the game I played in esports. And I was very good at Final Fantasy, albeit it was very, very short-lived. I wasn't super into it. So I'm like an MMO junkie. So as an MMO, ESO is up here. If you do not view it as a TES game and you're just like, I want a MMO to sink my time into, it has some of the better PvP that you're going to experience in an MMO. It has the most generous, non-shittiest gearing process, in that there isn't a bajillion arbitrary fucking time locks that lock you out of things. If you are good enough to go do vet hard mode, just go do it 5 times in a row with people, and you will get perfect bis gear from it. Oh, and hey, Yoshi P and WoW game director, you hear that? ESO lets people farm the raid as much as they want, get all their gear day 1, and people don't quit the game. Wow, who would have fucking guessed? It's almost like if you're good enough to play the game at the highest level, you don't just get gear to get gear and then stop. It's almost like you get that gear to increase your damage, to increase so that you can more smoothly do the content. Oh my god, that pisses me off so much about Final Fantasy. How they're just like, oh, well, we must arbitrarily extend the gearing process to at least 2 months so that you cannot fucking gear up too quickly. Fuck off, dude. Oh my god. I hate this idea that getting gear is what causes people to stop playing. Yeah, as if the guy who spent 1,000 hours practicing and getting good so he could go do ultimate raids for 12 hours a day is gonna fucking stop because he got bis. Yeah, totally. Anyway, but as an Elder Scrolls game, ESO is down here. Let's not fucking mince words. It does not respect the prior lore whatsoever. If you don't get into it and learn it, the gameplay is incredibly shallow. It's very good gameplay for an MMO because it's high APM. Dude, okay, here's another thing. So I was like a purple-orange parser in Final Fantasy after only playing it for 2 months, mind you. Anyway, and let me just tell you, dude. That game, my APM was maxing out at like 50. If I look at my ESO logs here, your APM is like 130, and that's not even counting things like movement. So, you know, you have to click 2 to 3 times as many buttons as you do in WoW and Final. So if you appreciate that kind of style of combat, it is a pretty good MMO. However, as a TES game, it falls very short. The main quest is fucking ridiculous and really undermines Oblivion severely. It ruins Molag Bal's character. It tries to assassinate the story of Morrowind by rewriting the Nerevarine and the Tribunal and all that shit. It tries to recontextualize everything in every era of the game that it touches. And there's not much else to say, really. It just has so little respect for what came before it. It will take events in previous games and go like, oh, well, actually, you see, I was there for that event, and it actually went down like this. And it's like, what? No. We had an entire game about this. What do you mean? Battlespire is a D-tier game, just like Redguard. These two are both D-tier games, because Battlespire has all of the balance and gameplay problems as Daggerfall, but the story kind of sucks. And it fucks with Goldbrand. It fucks with the one battle where Titus Mead takes Goldbrand, and it kind of like attributes it to the Battlespire character. It's weird. It's got weird time warp stuff. The gameplay is bad. The story is fucked up. And oh my god, the jumping, dude. The way jumping in this game works is you plant your feet on the ground. You hold the R key. Yeah, the fucking R key is the default for whatever reason. And then a cursor starts going out in front of you. And then you like jump to it. Battlespire is non-traditional Elder Scrolls at its worst, just like Redguard. Redguard barely is even a TES game, dude. Redguard is a linear story game where you play as one character. Redguard has more in common with with Witcher 1 than any Elder Scrolls game. It's very weird. And as a result, I don't like it. It does not hold up at all. Blades, as far as mobile games go, is like a B tier. Blades is not a bad mobile game. If you enjoy mobile games, you want something to play on like a flight or on the bus, Blades is good. Blades is fucking good. Although as an Elder Scrolls game, why the fuck did you think? You know what is a better mobile Elder Scrolls game? Let me pull it up here. TES Adventures Mobile. There were, yes, Elder Scrolls Travels. There were these old Elder Scrolls games. TES Travels. These These games are trying to be like old school Daggerfall. They are like Daggerfall style adventure stories that you can play on your phone. And there was even an Oblivion one. That's right. Oh my god, I fucking remember this, dude. But they have some interesting lore. I'm surprised those aren't on here.